Hello. Well, I'm back on the quest of Freeway Warrior, still book one, Highway Holocaust, written by the late, great Joe Deaver, who also did the Lone Wolf Choose Your Own Adventure. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing these, apart from I've always wanted to complete the epic quest of the Lone Wolf books, which I'm up to book 10 now. They're on the shelf behind me, just there. I've decided, because I am a writer and I am a gamer, I am going to produce my own game book next year. It's going to be called Airborne Soldier, The Battle for Arnhem, I think is the working title. Basically, people will be able to choose possibly one of 3 insertion points, I'm going to say, during Operation Market Garden, but you will be part of the British Army. I'm not doing the whole thing. And then you take place, you take part in the Battle of Arnhem from September, the opening day, until the closing day, more or less. So I think it'll probably take place over sort of 5 or 6 key days, about a week. And then I'm aiming to have at least 500 sections, maybe more. So it's going to be closer in size to one of the books of the Kingdom books that I've got on the shelf behind me, over the Lone Wolf books. Anyway, I am aware this game show's a bit niche. I can tell by the massive high number of people that are watching. But you know what? I like doing it. It's a lot of fun, so I'm going to do it. I've got a comment now. I should be joined. Hey, Darth Plato, good to see you, man. Nice to see you. Good to see you, Desert Phoenix. Desert Phoenix should be joining me maybe in about a half hour. I don't know how late I'm going to stream, but I'm hoping to complete book 1. I'm about halfway through. So I'm just going to recap quickly. This is a Mad Max type scenario. It's a post-apocalyptic America. I survived the outbreak of World War III, which was started accidentally by computers, terrorists hacking computers, hacking a system called HAVOC, and HAVOC was wreaked. So now I kind of represent a community. We kind of lived just north of Denton, sort of in that kind of area, I think it was, on this map, and on the 35. And we've made contact with a colony in Big Spring. We've got plenty of petrol. They've got plenty of food. So we've got a convoy of 3 vehicles, a school bus, a tanker, and my car. And there's the group of about 25 of us. And we're trying to make our way to Big Spring, which is on the map. You can kind of see it's on the left edge there. And so hang on a second. I'm trying to get Danny John Jules to come on my channel at the moment. He's just come back to me. I shouldn't be replying to this, so I'm live, but he's a big guest. He played the cat in Red Dwarf. He's a friend of mine, and has been a supporter of my work for a number of years, a couple of decades actually. And it would be great if I could get him on. And I've always gone and seen his plays and stuff. And first saw him on stage in Carmen Jones, I think it was, back in the, I want to say that was in the 90s, but it might have been, I think it was the 90s. All right, so let's get cracking with part 2 of the book. So we kind of, on this map, we've traveled down through Fort Worth, and I think we were in Weatherford, and we had the option of going up and checking out mineral wells, but we decided to push on. And then there were sort of varying scenarios about how we crossed this river. So, and it's now nighttime. We're on the Interstate 20. The twin beams of your headlights cast a white corridor of light along the Interstate 20. This is the book, by the way, that I'm reading from. As you overtake and pull in and take your place at the head of the convoy. With memory of the bikers' raid still fresh in your mind, yeah, we've just been attacked, you cast frequent glances in your rear view mirror to make sure the Klansmen are not on your tail. The road climbs steadily for several miles as it approaches the mountains of Erith County. So I'm guessing that might be, maybe we're approaching kind of Washout Mountains, sort of around here. Perhaps we shall see. Oh, Melvin, hey, good to see you. He was in Blade 2. That's absolutely correct, Melvin. He was in Blade 2. Melvin, if you fancy coming on, just let me know, mate, and I'll drop you the link. Help me make these crucial decisions. I've got a bit of a criticism with this book so far, and I have to say that I feel like you should have more choices. There's a lot of kind of turn to a number to read the next bit of text, and I want more choices. So I guess I'm going to have to try and focus on that myself when I'm designing my own book. But you know, these books are pretty complex to do. But I've got some software. I've been directed to some software that's going to make that a lot easier for me. Okay, so hang on a second. The road climbs steadily for several miles, yet a signpost reflects the glare of your lights, announcing the entry to the town of Thurber. Is Thurber on here? I'm not seeing it, so it must be quite small. Probably just before Cisco, I'm guessing. Okay, so we're approaching the town of Thurber. No problem, Melvin. You're always very welcome, mate. You know that. And always good to have you on the stream, sir. Always good. Thank you very much for coming and commenting. I do appreciate it. So, Thurber once had a population of 5,006. You contemplate that figure and wonder how many of them are still alive. Then you notice Uncle Jonas in the bus is signaling for you to stop. You reach the bus soon after, Cutter, and hear him asking what's wrong. Uncle Jonas says nothing. He simply tugs at the steering wheel and watches in dismay as it spins freely. Looks like we got ourselves a big problem, says Cutter, peering under the front wheel of the arch. The steering linkage has sheared clean in two. I guess that rough ride out of Santo did for it good and proper. Can you fix it? Not without welding gear or replacement part, he replies, dejectedly. I guess we'd better stop here for the night. By the way, I can't do American accents, just in case you're wondering. Not well, anyway. Looks like we won't get much further in this old bus anyhow. What I tend to do is I do a general American accent and then it like travels around different states as in between sentences. An uneasy silence descends on the colony as the colony members wonder what the strange American accent Uncle Jonas is speaking in. Cutter continues to inspect the bus, but you decide to return to your roadster and snatch a few hours' sleep. You're staring at the surrounding mountains, lost in thought, when you see a pinpoint of light flickering in the darkness. With your pulse racing, you grab your gun and set off for a closer look. Right, that's where I got to last time, actually, but I just needed a refresh. So we are turning to 235. Melvin, if you're staying there and you're up for typing in my numbered choices into the chat as I go, please do so. So we're turning to 235, mate. If I see you type that in there, then I won't bother doing it myself. And then we'll... Okay, I got a choice. The broken ground is illuminated by the full moon. But after a short while, the shadow of Washout Mountain... I said we were near Washout Mountain, which is... I'm going to zoom in a bit on this map, guys, so you can see it a bit more closely. There is Washout Mountain. So we are in the shadow of that, just west of Weatherford. The shadow washout mountain intrudes your path, and you soon find yourself in pitch darkness. If you possess a solar torch, turn to 24. If you do not possess this item, turn to 117 and fall down a crevasse and die. I don't know that that's the case. I think I do have a solar torch. Let me check. Let me see. I have got in my possession. That's weapons. Special items. That's funny. I seem to have I distinctly remember selecting a torch. Oh, that's right. We had a grenade, a Geiger counter, and a radio. No, we don't have the torch. We don't have the torch. Okay. So I don't possess that item. So we're going to 117. Melvin, thank you. So we're going from 235 to 117, if you please. Okay, guys, let's see what's at 117. Oh, by the way, so yeah, the other thing I wanted to say, apologies. I was supposed to be interviewing an actress who had recently worked with Kevin Spacey. In fact, his first project, which was shooting during the course of his trial, Lauren, but she dropped out, sadly. Clash of commitments and whatnot. The premiere of the film is actually next week. Maybe we'll get her back. I don't know. But that was originally supposed to be happening today. However, I have got stunt coordinator Dan Stiles, who's actually a dear friend of mine, who's coming on the channel in 2 weeks' time. Just booked him today. He's the 4th or 5th stunt coordinator I've had on the show. I've had more stunt coordinators than anyone else, but it's so nice that they're always willing to talk to me, and they've all got different stories. So that's an interview to look out for in 2 weeks' time. Okay, 117. You've taken a few dozen steps when suddenly the ground disappears beneath your feet. With a yelp of horror, you scrabble at the air as you fall headfirst into a steep-sided gully. Pick a number from 0 to 10. The number you picked is equal to the number of endurance points you lose as a result of your fall. If you're still alive, turn to 242. Well, I will still be alive. You can trust me on the die roll here. Here we go. I have rolled a 1. Ha ha! That's good. So I only stumbled. It's fine. So I rolled a 1. So my endurance is currently 11 because of that battle that I had. So it's now down to 10. Right. I think at this point I will stop and use a medical pack. Which I've got 5 of. That takes it down. That means that my endurance is now back to 14. It's a little bit low. It's under 50%. It's normally 21. Turn to 242. So, Melvin, we are going to 242. Well, I'm glad your family, Melvin, appreciate you helping out good old Uncle Lance. That's always a good way to spend your time. You're winded by your fall and lie for several minutes. I'm not. I took 1 point of damage. You're majorly embarrassed by your fall, and you wish that you'd picked the solar torch. Gradually, you recover your senses, manage to pull yourself up. Cursory check your equipment reveals that your CB radio is smashed to pieces. Hang on. Why am I carrying my CB radio when I would have left it in the car? I don't. That's bullshit. Together with the second backpack item listed on your action chart, erase both of these from the list. Okay, look, I object to this. First of all, my character would not go wandering off across the landscape with his CB radio at night. That's a very, very heavy item, and it stays in the car unless I say I bring it with me. So that's a load of coswallop. But I will take out the next item. Right, so one of my meals has been destroyed. That's annoying. Okay, so I've only got 1 meal left. I've got quite a lot of space in my backpack. Got space for 3-4 more items. Okay. As your strength returns, you resolve to climb out the gully as quick as you can. Pick a number from the random number table. Okay, here we go. Just going to roll that quickly. We have rolled a 6. And then add your current stealth and fieldcraft skills. My stealth is 5. That makes it 11. Fieldcraft is 4, makes it 15. If it's 10 or more, 11 or more, turn to 12. So, Melvin, we are going to 12. Okay, turn to 12. I have a feeling that if I'd failed that, I probably would have been eaten. Something bad would have happened. Turn to 12. 12. The climb is steep and tortuous, but you manage to reach the top of the gully, carefully picking your way around the edge until you happen on a narrow path that ascends towards the flickering light on the mountainside above. As you draw closer, you see the light is being cast by a small fire burning at the entrance of the cave. You approach with caution. Right, now every bone in my body at the minute is telling me to piss off back to the convoy, but I don't think there's any other option, so I guess I'm going to have to, even if I backtracked. As you draw level with the cave, you are greeted by a strange and curious sight. Well, I can't wait to see what this is. Turn to 305. This is indeed a strange and curious sight. There's an illustration here. I'm going to have to show you this, guys. Let me stop sharing for a sec. This is the strange and curious sight that greets me. An old man who is barbecuing what looks like either a lizard or a rat. I think it's a rat, actually. A scraggly old man dressed in an assortment of evil-smelling rags sits cross-legged by the fire. I bet he does. Whew, I can smell him from here. Let me put the map back up. Actually, I'll put the dice app back up for a bit. Let me do that in case I need to. I've had to roll a few dice, so I'll put that back up. Okay. He pokes at the crackling frames with the handle of an old branding iron and mumbles continuously and incoherently. Under his breath at your approach, he raises his eyes and stares at your gun, yet you sense that it does not worry him unduly. Saw your lights on the road, he croaks. Said to myself, those folk will come and calling. Best whoop a real up and meal up for 'em and right welcome. He jabs his metal rod into the fire and spears the blackened remains of a large rat. Proudly, he holds it up and nods enthusiastically as if he was about to serve it to you. Thanks very much. Your stomach turns when he offers you the charred carcass. You refuse politely. Gonna broken down, ain't you, boy? He says, pointing at the convoy on the highway below. What exactly is your problem? You never know. Maybe our kin can help you out. You not be the first folks that mountain goat set right. Okay, mountain goat. Half-heartedly, you tell the old hermit about the breakdown, suspecting he is just wasting your time. When you've finished, he smiles once more, taps the side of his nose with a greasy finger. And we're on 305 now, Melvin. Sorry, 305. I know just where I can lay hands on a part you need for fixing a bus of yours, he says smugly. Where, you reply. If you agree to take me with you, I tell you where. Is it a deal? Okay, well, I have to agree to take possibly the smelliest man in this post-apocalyptic wasteland. I don't think the convoy will thank me for it, but we're going to do it. We're going to 257, Melvin. 257. I guess I'm agreeing. You'll never regret this, he says excitedly. Scurries away to the rear of the cave to collect his meager belongings. He appears a few minutes later with a tattered rucksack on his back and offers to lead the way down the steep hill. During the descent, he tells you that Strawn is the next town, due northwest. Before the day, a large service depot that repaired buses and trucks was located there. If the part that you need still exists, the service depot at Strawn is the place to get it. I'm going to look and see if that's on the map, but I don't think it is. It is not, but it might be on the road to Albany out of Cisco. This is northwest, he says. On approaching the bus, you find the reaction of the colony to Mountain Goat is less than enthusiastic. Yeah, I'm not surprised, I have to say. I will put the map back up as I feel it's more relevant right now. So they're not blown away by Mountain Goat. I'm sure they're not. Where's this depot? Asks Cutter. It's 6 miles northwest of here, pipes Mountain Goat, eager to appear helpful. Good. The first light cow can drive us there, and you can help me locate the part we need. Oh, okay, replies Mountain Goat hesitantly. But I think first there's something you all ought to know. Okay. Well, we're going to turn to 189 to find out what this thing is. Is it that you don't wash? Strawn is held by a gang of renegades. There's about 40 of them. They were kicked out of San Angelo 6 months ago, and they tried to take over the Angelo clan from Mekong Mike. He sure whooped them real good. Those who got away came north and settled here. They're known as the Skulls on account of their shaved heads, and their leader is a real mean dude called Alcatraz. He and his gang have got Strawn sewn up like a genuine fortress just in case Mekong Mike should ever get an idea and come and pay him a surprise visit. Dangerous though it would be, a raid on Strawn must be attempted. Cutter proposes that you and he should be the ones to go. He can identify the part that's needed, and you are by far the fittest member of the colony. Gee, thanks. This is 189, this section, sorry. You swallow your fear, and you agree to go with him at first light. Turn to 222. So we're going to 222. That's what I mean. I feel like, most of my choices up to here have been die rolls. I've been pretty steered. This section of the book feels very linear. It's still good fun. But it's a little bit linear. Lone Wolf had a lot more. Do you want to go left? Do you want to go right? Do you want to go north? Do you want to go east? Despite your anxiety, you manage to get a few hours sleep before dawn. As the sky brightens, Uncle Jonas voices his fear that the vehicles are far too exposed. Just move this map a bit over here so I can see if Desert Phoenix joins me. So we're on Melvin. We're on 222 now. 222. So Melvin may be absent at this current time, so I'll pop the number in there. There we go. All right. Yeah, we agree that the convoy can't sustain a raid like the one it had the last night at Santo. Cutter agrees. So before you set off for Strawn, he fixes a line to the back of the tanker and tows the bus into a nearby gully. There, Uncle Jonas and the others set to work dismantling the broken steerage linkage, while Mountain Goat draws a map of Strawn showing the location of the truck depot. He hands the sketch to Cutter and you. And you and he check your equipment and bid farewell to the others before setting off. Okay. Is there any chance I can get, some more shit, like medical kits and stuff, before I embark on this raid? 2 hours later, you catch sight of the fortified town. It's perched on the ridge of the high town and enjoys an unobstructed view over the surrounding land. You note its perimeter wall, constructed of rubble and old cars, and crudely built watchtowers that command its freeway approaches. Seems to you it would be impossible for a large group or even a single vehicle to approach this town. Yet the rocky terrain that surrounds it enables you and Cutter to crawl within a few hundred yards of the perimeter wall without being seen. Patiently, you observe the inhabitants of Strawn while waiting for night to fall. During your long vigil, you must eat a meal and take 2 drinks, okay? Or lose 3 endurance points per drink missed. You identify 2 weak links in the defensive wall. One is an alley that services an old shopping mall. The other is a chain link fence that surrounds a derelict amusement park at the edge of town. Cutter suggests you enter Strawn separately in order to minimize the risk. If you wish to enter Strawn via the alley turn to 103. If you decide to enter the town via the amusement park, turn to 60. Okay, we have our first choice of the day. Oh, and Desert Phoenix is with me, so I'm going to bring him in. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Howdy, howdy.
That's a very sort of Mad Maxy type picture.
It's a virtual background setting in StreamYard.
No, that's good. Okay, well, we've just got to the village of, not village, it's a fortified encampment called Strawn, which is somewhere northwest off the 20, just past the mountain of Washout, which is over here on the eastern edge of the map. So we're just past Washout. That's where we are. And the steering wheel for the bus is broken, but this smelly old geezer that we picked up is going to help us. Now, do you have a PDF of this book?
Yeah, I'm looking at it on Project Aeon.
Okay, right. So we're currently on 222.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you jump in with your infinitely superior American accent for any other characters besides the main dude, which I'll do. I had a lot of fun with the old guy though. That was quite entertaining. He came from about 4 different states. So, one of them was Wales, I think. So okay, yeah. So we can either enter the town via this alleyway, or we can enter the town via the amusement park. Now, before that, however, I'm going to do a couple of things. First of all, I have to drink 2 portions of water, so I'm now down to half a pint. So, and that's 2 pints. That's in 4 segments. I'm going to need some more water soon. But we need to be on the lookout for water. I've also just eaten my last meal because I had to eat a meal. Now, during this big rest period while we're waiting to go into the town, I'm going to use another medical kit that takes me down to 3 to fix up my endurance up to 18. So it's only 3 away from its maximum because I have a feeling like shit's going to go down in this place. So we don't want to be going in there limping. So we can either go through the amusement park via a chain link fence, which sounds very wonky, or we can go in via the alleyway. I'm leaning towards the amusement park. Any thoughts?
I've never read any of these, so
good.
I'll go with your choice. So
all right, okay. Well, you can. Okay, so Melvin is recording the numbers for us. So Melvin, we are turning to page 60. All right, so we're going to number 60. Okay. So let's see. Right, you wait until Cutter reaches the safety of the alley. By the way, technically you're Cutter, so I hope you're not wearing a red Star Trek vest at this point.
No.
You wait until Cutter reaches the safety of the alley before you set off towards the amusement park. Silently, like a cat, you pad across the open ground before gaining entry to the park itself by wriggling under its rusty chain link fence. The deserted ride looks strange and scary in the moonlight. Shapes play tricks on your imagination when a patrol of Skull Klansmen suddenly appears at the entrance to the park. You panic and dive for cover. Okay, we're going to need to make a die roll here. So let me just get the die roll app ready. You know why it wasn't working before? Because I've got an ad blocker. And
okay.
I realized it was on that page. So the dice were rolling, but I couldn't see them because they were blocked by the ad blocker. That's what was going on. That's why I thought it wasn't working. Okay, so roll a d10. If you need to take a call, by the way, man, just put yourself on mute, and I'll fill in. I know you're kind of on standby for special operations. So, all right, okay. So, pick a number. So we're doing a D-roll 10, and then we're adding our current stealth and perception skills. So, stealth and perception added together with Cal. Currently, he's got stealth of 5, perception of 4. That's 9. So, and we need to roll 13 or higher. So, of course, as with everything, we want to roll high. Here we go. Fuck off. Oh, have I just demonetized this by saying that? I need to watch my language. We've rolled a 1, which is not high enough. That means we've got a total of 10. Why did I say that? I shouldn't say we need to roll high. I just shoot myself in the foot every time. We are turning to 331. So Melvin, that's 331. It may well be your adventure ends here, in which case Phoenix has arrived just in time to get me killed. It's definitely his fault.
Sure, blame it on me.
Should have gone the other way, man. Why did you tell me to decide? Okay, here we go. Blinded by the sudden darkness, you fail to see the heavy machinery that is positioned just inside the doorway. Hold on a second. Let me just double check I've got the right number. Let me go back to 60 because I don't remember it saying I'm diving into a doorway. Hold on. You dive for cover through the nearest doorway. Oh, right. Yes. Okay. So you fail to see this heavy machinery that's positioned just inside the doorway. You collide with it and you gash your scalp open, lose 6 endurance points. Bloody hell. That's not good. Okay, so my endurance is now down to 12. If you survive this injury, turn to 56. Well, I do. Before I survive that injury, however, I'm going to use a medical kit to wrap up my head with a big white bandage on it, putting my endurance back up to 16. And we're down to 2 medical kits now. So we're running out of medical kits. Okay, so turn to 56. So we are going to 56, 56. Okay. We're in a combat situation. Got the dice up there. Painfully, you drag yourself to your feet, or you got some dialogue coming up here.
Yes,
you wait until the footfalls of the patrol have passed out of earshot, and then you venture out into the park once more. You've managed to avoid another patrol. Meet up with Cutter at the truck depot. You're both relieved to discover the place is empty and unguarded. And quickly, you make your way to the stores building. You cannot find the records office, but without electricity, you cannot find the computer files to pinpoint the exact location of the spare you need. With your horror, you realize that in order to find the new steering linkage, you have to search every one of the 1,600 bays that occupy the building. We'll be here forever if we search the shelves, whispers Cal.
I guess you're right, but I think I know a quicker way to finding what we need. Follow me.
Intrigued by Cutter's reply, you follow him out of the stores building, remarking that his voice appears to have changed since 3 pages ago. Across a parking lot and into another section of depot marked Zone 3 Municipal Vehicle Servicing. After searching 4 dozen bays, finally you discover what he's looking for, a school bus.
Cal, you keep your eyes open while I strip the linkage out of this old baby. Give me an hour and we'll be on our way.
Nervously, you stand guard, annoyed that, as usual, Cal has given you the bigger responsibility of defending him. All is quiet until 40 minutes later, you see something moving among the vehicles on the far side of the parking lot. It's a drunken Klansman. Slowly, he staggers nearer, taking alternate sips from bottles clutched in either hand. Okay. He's about to pass by when Cutter drops a spanner. Cutter, you fool! What are you doing? What are you playing at? Okay. Yeah, the ringing noise pierces his drunken stupor.
We don't have spanners in the U.S. We have wrenches.
Well, yeah, that you can tell this is written by a British writer. That's right. You have a wrench. Trouble is on its way, I whisper to Cutter. The Klansman comes lumbering through the opening door, brandishing his bottles like clubs. He sees you, screams an oath, and gets ready to launch his attack. Okay, so he's got combat skill of 14, endurance of 28. Now, I'm assuming I'm not going to fire my gun because that's going to bring Hellfire down. So I'll be attacking him with my hunting knife, which is a +2 on the combat thing. I've got combat skill of 15. He's got combat skill of 14. So we're rolling on the combat table on a +3. Okay. So +3. All right. Let's see what the dice says. He's got endurance of 28. So Phoenix, would you keep track of his endurance damage?
All right.
Okay, here we go. So first round of combat. It's an 8. That's good for us, I believe. So he takes 8 points of damage. No, sorry, 7. 7 points of damage. We take 1.
All right. He's down to 21.
Yeah, which is good. Because my endurance isn't great. Because I remember I rolled low on the endurance at the beginning of the game. Okay. So next. Let's hide that. Second round of combat. 9. That's good. He takes 10 points of damage. We take nothing.
Brings him down to 11.
Okay, third round of combat. 1. Not so good. He takes 4 points of damage. We take 3.
Puts him down to 7.
We're down to 12. Okay. I think I'm going to be using my next medical kit fairly soon. 5. He takes 5 points of damage.
Down to 2.
Okay, we take 1. Okay, next round of combat. This should determine it, hopefully. 10. He's dead.
Yep.
And we take nothing. Booyah. Okay, good. Oh, hang on. No, wait. Yeah, he is dead. But 0 is bad, you know, on this combat chart. I keep forgetting 9 is highest, 0 is 0. So he takes 3, so he is dead. But we take 4. God damn it. Yeah, because it's different.
Well, it's a 10-sided dice, so technically it's 1 through 10. 0 counts as 10.
Yeah, but on the combat chart.
Oh yeah, but
you know what I mean? They put 0 at the bottom, which is a change from the lone wolf. I don't know if they've got the chart, if it's a different chart on the. Anyway, well, I'm not going to cheat, so we'll go with it. So, right. So actually, I'm down to 7. So I'm immediately going to use another medical kit to put me back up to 11. I'm tempted to use 2, but I think I better hang on to 1 at least. So we win the combat. We're going to 249, Melvin. 249. 249, 249. Cutter helps you hide the clansman's body. Yeah, thanks for that, mate. Bet you found that very entertaining to watch while I did all the fighting. Meanwhile, you search inside and find an old tool bag that looks ideal for transporting heavy linkage. Good. Cutter completes the job, stows the linkage in the bag. Together, you carry it out the service bay and across the parking lot towards the exit. Weighed down by the heavy load, you find it impossible to move quickly, and you escape from Strawn. Takes several hours to accomplish, but you manage to avoid the Skull Clan's perimeter patrols. But it's not until mid-morning of the following day that eventually you arrive back at the colony. Okay, I reckon if we'd gone the other way, it probably would have gone bad, because that seemed relatively easy. So we're now going to 196. 196. Okay, we've got a choice coming up, but it's not a choice of like coolness. It's a choice of do you own such and such. We do own. No, we don't. It's going to ask us if we own a telescope or binoculars. Do you know what? We've picked up almost nothing useful in this game so far. We picked up a few rounds of ammunition at that airport. And I think that's it. I haven't found any water. I haven't found any food. Yeah. And I haven't found any special items. I've got a 12-gauge shotgun, but, you know. All right. So the success of the daring night raid is applauded by the colony. Well, I'm, you know, as long as they're pleased. Mountain Goat is especially pleased that you found the part needed to fix the bus. Okay, after a few hours rest, you help Cutter and Uncle Jonas install the steering linkage. Then you fill your Roadster's fuel tank with gasoline. Prepare to lead the convoy on the next stage of the long journey west. You leave the Interstate 20 and travel across country in order to give Strawn a wide berth. Okay, let's take this down and put the map back up. I don't think Strawn's even on the map, though. So it must be tiny. What have I done with my map now? I think I've moved the map. Oh wait. Yeah, here it is. Okay. All right. Good. Got it. I've got it. All right. So we'll just pop that up. Okay. So yeah, we are heading. So I guess we're heading towards Abilene. Although I don't even know if we've gone past Cisco yet. Let's have a look. Let's see what it says. You're late in the afternoon. You rejoin the highway as it approaches Lake Leon, which I don't think is on the map, and the town of Eastland, which is also not on the map. You are 2 miles from Eastland when you spot an obstruction in the far distance that appears to be blocking the entire road. However, you're aware that constant heat haze can play tricks on your vision, so you signal the convoy to halt while you scout ahead. A mile along the highway, you discover that the obstruction is in fact a trench that's been dug diagonally across the road. It's sufficiently deep along its whole length to wreck any vehicle attempting to cross it at speed. You bring your cars to a halt and step out on the sun-scorched asphalt in order to take a closer look at this curious excavation. Do I? That sounds like I step out to get shot. Has to be said. And then it says, if you possess telescope or binoculars. We do not. So we're going to 147. Okay. I don't like the sound of this. 147. The walls of the trench bear no marks made by picks or shovels, leading you to suspect that it was excavated entirely by hand. You're wondering who on earth would undertake such a task when you hear a chilling sound, the baying of hounds. The city gangs of Fort Worth keep packs of vicious pit bull terriers, many of whom have encountered and been laid to rest. But nothing you've met in the past has prepared you for the horror that faces you now. Oh dear. We're about to turn to 128. I was remarking before you came on that one of my criticisms of this book is that the choices are pretty limited. There's a lot of jumping from text to text and testing skills. But the number of times I've had a couple of different choices to make has been pretty small. Okay, so a pack of 5 dogs suddenly appears at the side of the road. Their stealthy approach concealed by the mound of loose earth excavated from the highway trench. At first glance, they look like Alsatians, but you see the dogs are much larger and fiercer. They fix you as a hungry meal with their feral eyes. Their mouths slavering and foaming as they stalk forward. Then 2 figures come into view behind them, gaunt and pale, despite the desert sun. With a rasping scream, they command the dogs to attack, and immediately the pack obeys. If you possess a missile weapon and wish to use it, turn to 107. To bet you right, I do. So we're going to 107. So 107. Ella Brew is in the chat. Look at that. Good friend of mine. In fact, I think I might even have a little special banner for Ella somewhere here. It might be quite far up. Where is it? It's below my 2,000 subs thing. There it is. There we go. Shout out to Ella. Right, okay. So we're going to 107. 107. Okay. Right. Instinctively, you reach for your gun as the first pack of dogs reaches the highway and comes bounding towards you. You've encountered rabid dogs before and know only too well that one scratch from an infective beast will seal your doom. You must shoot fast and accurately if you are to survive this encounter. So if you're using a pistol, turn to 261. If you're using a shotgun, turn to 320. If you're using a rifle, turn to 28. And if you're using a machine pistol, go to 5. Well, I've got a couple of different weapons to choose from here. So the question is, which one? I would have thought a shotgun would have been best against a pack of dogs. I've got a shotgun. I've only got 1 round of ammunition for it. So I've got 33 rounds of ammunition for the machine pistol, and I've got 2 rounds of ammunition for the rifle. So I think the machine pistol probably, because I've got more ammo for that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Spray and pray.
Heckler and Kosh it is. Just checking with the chat. Oh, look, using my Danish name there. Must be a really good friend of mine to know that. Okay, so let me just put the official banner back up. Here we go. All right. Okay, so we're going to turn to 5. So we're turning to 5. Melvin, if you're there. Ella, if you're not there. We are turning to number 5. You pull and release the bolt of your G12 and then level the barrel at the leading dog as it gets ready to make its leap. Hurriedly, you squeeze off a burst of fire that rips through its chest and sends its lifeless body spinning backwards among the rest of the pack. The death of their brother and the noise and the fury of your weapon brings the pack to a sudden halt. Oh, I like it. Nice. Deduct 6 rounds, so we're down to 27 rounds. Andy. Turn to 90. Okay, so we're going to 90. 90. Have you got the telly on?
No. Some background noise, sorry.
Oh, is that just people?
Yeah.
Well, you can't do anything about them. So, okay. Right, there's a huge long portion of text. I'm going to distill this down a little bit so I don't have to read out every word. It is quite long. And then there's one word of dialogue, Phoenix, that you can do in this section if you're able.
Yeah, let's close the door, see if we can cut down some of the background noise.
Oh yeah, that's done a really good job. Good shout. All right, here we go. Slowly, the 2 figures shamble to the edge of the highway and stare at you with vacant eyes. Your spirited dispatch of their dogs has not worried them in the slightest. Neither do they appear unduly concerned for their own safety. You stand your ground, challenging them to attack if they dare. They laugh. It is a pitiful, thin sound which makes your flesh crawl. You return their empty stares, noting with disgust the ulcer-like sores that cover their pale greyish skins, their almost complete lack of hair, their teeth black with decay. Sound like zombies to me. Your disgust turns to pity, however, when you realise why they show no fear. They're both afflicted with terminal radiation sickness. Death is already their companion. Where are you from? You call, anxious to discover if there's a hot spot, a zone of radioactivity nearby.
Cisco,
comes the reply. If you have any medical kits you left, you may now take some dressings from your medikit and place them on the ground. Fuck that. They just attacked me and I've only got 1 medical kit. You're joking, aren't you? So no, I'm not giving them my medical kit. They're going to die anyway. 327 we're going to. 327. I mean, sorry if I appear mean, but, you know, this is Mad Max, not Teletubbies. Okay. With the squeal of tires, you accelerate away, retracing your route along Interstate 20 towards the convoy. As you drive, you're haunted by the images of the 2 Radviks you encountered at the trench. The chilling memory of their gaunt grey faces has awakened your deepest fears. The road crests arise and you see the convoy parked less than a quarter of a mile away. The welcoming sight distracts you from your morbid thoughts, but your relief is short-lived. As you bring the roadster to a halt along the bus, you see Cutter standing on the roof, a pair of battered binoculars pressed to his eyes. You had binoculars all along when I needed them earlier. What the fuck, dude? Yeah, 327 Melvin is correct.
Looks like we're going to have company real soon.
Yeah.
I reckon there's over 100 bikes out there on the prairie, and they're all heading this way. Looks like that Mad Dog Michigan decided not to go to Killeen after all.
I think we should head for Cisco and lay low until they pass, says Uncle Jonas. But he soon changes his mind when you tell him about your encounter at the trench. Abilene would be safer, says Kate, leaning out the window of the bus, but we'll have to pass wide of Cisco to get there. Cutter conveys a hasty conference to decide the best way. Okay, now we actually do have a choice. The terrain in this area is too rocky to attempt cross-country, so you must use what remains of the secondary highways. Okay, so we're going to have to detour. So our ultimate goal, of course, is to get to Big Springs, which is here. We're just west of Cisco, which we don't want to go through because it's radiated. So we've got a choice of either taking the highway to Albany, go to 156, or you can choose the southwest route across the rough plains. I think those are the only two choices, yeah. Northwest via the town of Albany or southwest across the plains. The colony is undecided. You must make the decision. Yeah, of course we do. Okay, chat. Give it some thought. I'll just read out the detail. After studying the map and staring at the surrounding plain from the roof of the bus, you determine two possible routes: northwest via the town of Albany or southwest via the town of Cross Plains. That's down here. Yeah, okay, directly south. Albany takes us a little bit closer to our destination, but yeah. So if we're going to go Cross Plains, we'd then be going via Ballinger, Sterling City, up to Big Spring that way, probably. And then if we're going via Albany, then we come back down to Abilene and then pick up the 20. So it's either a longer way round with smaller roads, or a shorter way round and then picking up the 20. Keith is volunteering for Southwest. Okay. Obviously, you know, a woman's word is gold, so we need to hear what Ella thinks about this. What do you think, Phoenix? Any thoughts? I have to admit, I'm leaning more towards Southwest. It's the least obvious choice, which is why.
Yeah, but that might use more fuel, though. Don't have to worry about fuel.
No, we don't, because we've got an abundance of fuel because we got a fuel truck. That's why. We don't have a fuel thing we have to cross out. I'm a bit more worried about the fact that I've only got one portion of water left, and one medical kit. Melvin is saying Albany because he used to work in Albany, Australia, which obviously is a very logical reason to take that route. Yeah, Mike, I mean, yeah, the way Southwest appears longer by Cross Plains. I mean, Albany might have some supplies. Difficult to know. We definitely need to search places as we go because I need to pick shit up. This is the only bottle of water I have left for the entire journey. So, okay, we got one vote for Southwest. We got one vote for Northwest. Phoenix, what's your vote? Anyone else in the chat? We've got other people watching. Pipe up now.
See, it looks like there's a lot of waterways we'd have to cross over, which means bridges we'd come across.
Yeah, there's a bridge at Brownwood, which could be down.
Yeah, I don't know. It's maybe going to be a 50-50.
Well,
let's try south.
Okay, so that's 2 votes for Southwest. I have to admit I'm leaning towards Southwest, but if anyone else, if we get an even score in chat, we'll flip a coin on it. Okay. Any other comments in chat? I don't think so. So it looks like we're going to Cross Plains, which is 270. 270 is the next choice. Okay. I didn't know these were all available on Project Aeon as well. Okay. There's a little picture here. I think we're going through that area that's got the. I don't think this is geographically correct, but that's called the Valley of. It's in Arizona, isn't it? That where you go through the place with the big
Grand Canyon.
Yeah, it's near the Grand Canyon. It's not the Grand Canyon. It's near the Grand Canyon, but it's called something else. It's in a lot of westerns. It's called Valley of something. I forget the name of it now.
Death Valley?
No, not Death Valley. It's you've got those huge kind of rock formations with the peaks.
Oh,
yeah, those. Monument Valley. Thank you, Melvin. Monument Valley. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's been used in a lot of John Ford westerns and a couple of others. And there's also a scene in National Lampoon's Vacation, which features Monument Valley. So, all right, there's a big section of text here. Let me read it out. You lead the convoy along the split and cratered surface of State Highway 571. Across a wasteland of bleached hills and scorched scrub. In the distance, you see mountains, the twin summits of the Caddo Peaks and the craggy outline of Spring Mesa, standing sharp clear against the backdrop of a cloudless sky. By mid-afternoon, the temperature has climbed to 110 Fahrenheit, and the combined effects of the heat and the poor road surface begin to take their toll. 2 miles inside Comanche country, don't like the sound of that, the tanker is forced to halt.
It's county, not country.
with an overheated engine. Luckily, the breakdown occurs within sight of the Savannah River. That's the river that you were talking about earlier. So I'm guessing, I don't know if this means we've gone past Cross Plains or what. Not very specific, and unfortunately the rivers on this map are not labeled. Okay. It's now little more than a torpid stream. There's enough water soon to collect to enable the tanker to continue. If you wish, you can refill your water canteen at the river at the cost of 1 medkit. Okay, sorry. I can refill my canteen at the river. Why does it cost me a medical kit to refill my canteen?
It makes absolutely no sense.
Oh, it probably means you have to use something from your medical kit to purify the water.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that they should specify that though.
Yeah.
Well, I do need it because I've only got 1 unit of water. So do I give up my final medical kit? I think I'll probably have to. So we're down to 0 medical kits. That's bad. But we do have 2 points, 2 pints of water. So we're back to 2, 1.5, and then 1 again on the list. Okay, so we've got 4 portions of water. And I'll drink one of them now because before you leave Cross Plains, you must take a drink. Yeah, well, I had 1 to spare, so I'll drink it and then do the thing. Unless you possess a tub of salt. Oh yeah, I did pick up the salt. You must reduce your current endurance total by 4 points due to excessive salt loss. Remember, we picked up the salt. So that's useful. I do have the salt. I do have the tub of salt. That was one of the things I picked up. Okay, so we're turning to 42. That was when we searched that college. All right. Okay, so 42. We're going to 4-2, Melvin. And I think we've lost Ella. She must have gone to bed. So The road to cross plains is virtually free of the craters and other hazards that have plagued your journey so far. Ah, okay, good. You're glad of the cooling breeze, but you cannot shake off your presentiment that danger awaits you in cross plains. Tire tracks in the dust, some no more than a few days old, indicate the highway's been used by other four-wheeled vehicles. Okay. When the town appears in the distance, caution prompts you to stop your car at a derelict gas station. You park it undercover inside an empty repair shop at the rear of the building and then venture into cross plains on foot. Okay, I'm just going to point out now that I am not taking my CB radio with me. I'm going to leave it in the car. Assuming that it's a, one in a box with a box, and it's not like a walkie-talkie, is it? It's a CB radio. So how do you you'd have to have a massive backpack with that in it. It'd be really heavy. Okay. Tires zigzag the main street, but you can see no signs of the vehicles that made them. The place itself appears deserted and unremarkable. At a junction near the centre of town, you notice something unusual. A tall wooden pole, carved and painted in the fashion of an old Comanche totem. Has been erected in the street. Pick a number from the random number table and add your current stealth and perception skills. So our stealth and perception is 9. Let's see what we get on the dice. They haven't been too kind to us today. We did all right with the combat, though. 9. Couldn't have gone better. Okay, so we've rolled a 9. If your total is now 13 or more, which it is, turn to 209. Okay. So we're basically in Indian country. All right. Okay. We've got a picture, I think. Oh, no. No, that's the next bit. A sudden sound to your left betrays the hiding place of a would-be ambusher. You spin on your heel, drawing your hunting knife and tensing yourself in expectation of an attack. Lurking in the doorway is a scrawny youth dressed in a tattered buckskin. His clothes and coloured stripes that mark his face remind you of the books you read when you were young, with pictures of Indian braves who fought the cowboys of the Old West. The youth screams a curse and casts a rope lasso around your shoulders, but before you can draw it tight, you sever it with one sweep of your razor blade. His scream echoes across the street and draws forth others of his kind, all dressed in similar Indian costumes. They advance towards you, brandishing knives and axes. You turn and run for your life. Yeah, no shit. As you pass the entrance to a small bar, another group appears on the sidewalk less than 20 yards ahead. A shot rings out, forcing you to dive for cover inside the bar. Fortunately, the place is deserted, but the angry screams of the mob grow louder. Quickly, you scan the interior. 2 possibilities present themselves: the staircase to the first floor and the counter at the rear of the bar. Okay, so do we want to hide behind the counter or run up the staircase to the second floor? And yeah, Melvin, we're on 209. That's correct. 209.
I'm going to go for the counter. Should dive behind the counter.
Behind the counter is a very sort of standard thing in the movies. That's where everybody hides. I'm wondering if we go up the stairs, they might be rickety, old, and we might fall through them. I favour the stairs over the counter. Anyone in chat want to offer a possible different scenario? Let's see. But you think behind the counter?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm undecided on this one. We need a vote either way. Chat, help us out here. Counter or stairs? Melvin, what do you reckon? Counter or stairs? See what he says. And it's now midnight. And
so Melvin says counter.
Okay, all right. I'm outvoted, but if it says adventure ends here, it's your fault. All right. Okay. So counter is 118. So we're going to 118. 118. 118. Okay. Here we go. You fling yourself over the counter, landing heavily on the floor, carpeted with broken glass and pools of stale liquor. Your knees and elbows bleed freely. Lose 3 endurance points. Thanks, guys. Great job.
Oops.
Fuck's sake. Right. So we're already injured before we've even been shot at. You cannot prevent a scream of agony escaping from your lips. Your cry is answered by a malicious laugh, and you hear a shotgun being cocked and ready to fire. Right now, I'm just going to say, I said we should go up the stairs. If we fail this die roll, I have a feeling we're dead. Pick a number from the random number table. If your current stealth skill is 4 or more, add 1 to the number that you've picked. My stealth score is 5, so I can indeed. Okay, so we're rolling on a D10. Now, I'm just going to tell you 10 is 0, and we're adding 1. So here we go. We've rolled a 4, which is a 5. There are 3 possible outcomes. We've landed in the middle. So if you roll 3 to 6, turn to 3, 3, 4. I have a feeling this is not the best outcome. 3, 3, 4. Let's see. 3, 3, 4. 3, 3, 4. Okay. The evil-sounding laughter is cut short by a deafening roar as both barrels of a Browning Citori, is that? Are discharged at the counter. The heavy load rips through the front, bringing down most of the rickety shells that line the back wall. A cascade of bottles and glass rains down on your head. As you scurry towards the end of the counter, lose 3 endurance points. Jesus Christ. We're pretty badly injured here, and we also don't have a medical kit. Yeah. Ahead beneath the staircase, you see a door with an unlit sign. It reads, "Exit, fire escape, use in case of emergency only." I reckon this constitutes an emergency. You run towards the door. Just as you're about to leave, your hand brushes against the stock of a sawn-off shotgun that is lying beneath the shelf, beneath the counter. Both hammers are cocked, and the chambers show that both barrels are loaded. If you decided to take the weapon, turn to 176. If you want to ignore it, turn to 84. I think we should take it.
Yeah, it'd probably be smart.
Better not be a trap. Okay, so once we're going to 176. We were on 334. We're going 176. 176. You spring to your feet and run to the exit. However, a stripy-faced youth whom you encountered earlier blocks your doorway. As he reaches for his revolver, which is tucked into his waistband, you lower your shotgun and fire. Only one barrel discharges, the other misfires, but the blast is good enough to lift your adversary off his feet and send him cartwheeling out the door. You leap over his body and run along an alley that leads to a side street. So I just killed the son of the chief, probably. That's great, isn't it? He's going to be really pissed with me. So that's not good. You hear the mob yell out when they find the body, so you know they will press the pursuit. You frantically search for somewhere safe to hide. An old boarding house on the corner of the street looks like the answer to your prayer. You enter before the mob reaches the end of the alley. Turn to 86. Okay, we need to avoid combat at all costs now. If we get into a combat, we're going to die. From the window of a room on the second floor, you watch as the mob floods out of the alley and into the street below. They divide into 2 groups and begin searching. Silently, you crouch by the window, awaiting the chance to slip away. While lying low, you must take a drink or lose 3 endurance points. That I can do. I've got plenty of water, so we're now down to 1.5 sips or whatever. Got three left. With relief, you discover your roadster is parked at the gas station. You quickly climb in and accelerate away. No shit. When you reach the Rising Star, you find that the convoy is waiting for your return with trepidation. Because you're so long overdue, they feared you'd fallen foul of Mad Dog Michigan and his bikers. You tell them what happened in Cross Plains, and everyone agrees that with darkness almost upon you, it's too dangerous to continue. The night Rising Star passes uneventfully, and at first light, the convoy sets off cross-country towards Abilene. Okay, hang on. So, take this down. So, I have a feeling, okay, it almost feels like we might as well have gone the other way.
Oh, well.
Who voted for us to travel southwest again? Yeah. Yeah, so because we came down to Cross Plains infested with Indians. Now we're going cross country towards Abilene. I guess, well, it would have been interesting to have seen what's up at Albany. And during that entire time, I've now got another shotgun, which is, all well and good, but I've already got one. So, I'll put that in the boot of. Oh, I don't actually have a shotgun. I'm sorry. That was me misreading my own information. I'm going to store it in the boot of a car as an item for possible bartering, and then I can always switch weapons over if I decide I want to take it somewhere. So, shotgun. Okay, cool. No shells for it. So, we're now turning to page 100. 100. Okay. Have you got the text there to hand for this section? Begins with much of Abilene lies in the shadow of a bank of cloud. Do you want to read out the rest while I just dash to the bathroom real quick?
Okay. Much of Abilene lies in the shadow of a bank of a cloud, which has darkened in the land since mid-morning. At first, the unexpected arrival of this cloud cover cheers the colony, for it brings with it a welcome respite from the burning heat and promises a possible end to the drought. Unfortunately, these initial hopes are soon shattered. As you approach the city, a fierce wind arises. It sweeps down from the north and lashes the convoy, not with rain, but with blinding clouds of grit and sand. Within the space of half an hour, the colony is engulfed in a ferocious dust storm that threatens to bury you all without a trace. At the first opportunity, you signal the others to pull off the elevated freeway and seek shelter from the storm. The danger of grit finding its way into the engines of the convoy vehicles, causing them irreparable damage, is uppermost in your mind, and anxiously you search for shelter. A signpost looms out of the swirling dust, pointing to what was once a high school. You signal to Cutter to follow you into the schoolyard, but the storm is reaching its peak, and you are forced to halt before you can see the school itself. Quickly, the colony disembarks, and blindly you lead them in single file, heads bowed against the stinging wind until you reach the school building. Fortunately, it still has a roof and 4 walls, and offers adequate protection from the storm. Once inside, Aunt Betty Ann decides to take roll call and make sure everyone is present. She is about to begin when Rosita Rodriguez cries out in anguish,
Maria! Where is my Maria? She is not here.
A check of the school reveals that Rosita's little 6-year-old girl is missing. She was with the family when they left the bus and must still be close by, but with the storm now at its peak, everyone knows that her chances of survival outside are slim. Uncle Jonas calls for 3 volunteers to search for Maria, and immediately you step forward, as do Cutter and Kate.
If you possess a CB radio, go to 304. Well, we do, but I'll have to go out to the car to use it, though. But, it's only outside in the dreadful storm. All right, 304. Before venturing into the storm, all 3 of you turn your transceivers to the same frequency so you can remain in contact. I mean, this is not a CB radio. This is a walkie-talkie, isn't it, really?
What if the British definition of CB radio is different than what.
Well, isn't it? Well, for us, CB radio is like convoy. It's like the radio in the truck, and it's attached to the box with the dials on it.
Well, I mean, I would imagine maybe at the time he wrote this, he was thinking a CB radio was like a handheld.
Right. Interesting. That was such a big. Do you remember when that was a really big thing in the 70s and 80s? Like around the time the Convoy movie came out, and it was a bit of a thing over here for a while, and everyone was getting like amateur CB radio setups at home, and you'd have like a handle, and people would go 1-4 for a copy, 1-4 for a copy. Do you remember that? I'm showing my age.
I never personally did it myself, but
you had the right voice for it, man. I mean, you know, and by that I mean it was American. So, okay, well, so we got some choices here. By selecting that channel. Okay, so I'm going to assume these are walkie-talkies, what we call them. All right, fine. But I'm still not taking it with me unnecessarily. That's all I'm saying. By selecting that channel, you're monitoring its signal and strength. You should be able to find your way back to the school. Okay, 3 of you decide to split up and search different areas, maximizing your chance of finding Maria quickly. The school building would have prevented her from wandering to the south, leaving 3 directions in which to search: north, west, and east. So we've got 3 choices. Do we want to go north, west, or east? Yeah, Keith had a CB radio that looked like a walkie-talkie. I do remember those ones with the big squelch buttons and all that. I always like just perceived CB radios as having a much longer range.
Well, we got a 33% chance. I mean,
yeah, I'm thinking west. So 299, go west.
Okay. All right,
go west. Da, 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 da. I know that's your favorite song. Okay,
I do know that one. Yes.
you pull your t-shirt up to cover your nose. Okay, I can see if we go west, we're going to go into a combat situation.
You sure you want to go west?
No, I don't want to go west. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's not go west. I keep forgetting how badly injured I am. Yeah,
after like a day's rest, I mean, you went to sleep though for one night. You think if you heal something back?
Yeah, I actually will just check that before we continue, because it does feel like I mean, I haven't got the magical ability to do all of that stuff, but
these ones give you endurance points back per section.
Not sure. Hang on a minute. So, oh my God. What number are we on? We're not on 56, Melvin. Not on 56.
No, we're on 304.
We're on. So the number where the choices were, was that 304?
Yeah.
Okay, 304. All right, Melvin. What's happened to our numbering system in the chat there, man? Okay, so I'm just going to pop that in there. Okay. So I thought we had 2 of them on it.
A couple sections behind.
Yeah, and Ella just texted me to say she dozed off, so clearly captivated by the experience. Okay, so west is bad. Okay, west is bad. So north or east then?
How about north?
North. Okay, so north is 169. What? Have a look at that. I'm just going to double check on, is there any other way that endurance is healed? Because there was 1 night's rest, but right, medical kits. Yeah, okay. Endurance.
Lost connection there for a couple of seconds.
Oh, did you? Okay, well, we're good. We're also out of food. I mean, we're out of food. I can't see anything other than in the book anywhere about you regaining endurance points except by medical kits or yeah, I can't see, because you don't regain them from food. That just stops you from losing them. Yeah, no. So, well, yeah. So I'm pretty badly injured right now, man. Oh, okay. Melvin lost his internet. Okay, all right. Okay, so we're going north. You said 169.
Yep.
Okay, Melvin, we're turning to a 169. Using the scraps of cloths available, you cover your nose and mouth. You pass the colony's vehicles, walk out into the main street, repeatedly calling the child's name, hoping she'll hear you. As you cross the street, you catch what sounds like a young girl's voice. You shout her name, and a voice faintly answers, "Help me, I'm here." If you possess a pair of goggles, turn to 223. I don't think we do, but I have a horrible feeling that I think I had some items that I've accidentally deleted on here, because I know we got the box of salt, which was worth and that was like handed out to everybody in the convoy. But I don't remember picking up goggles. You weren't on the previous game, were you? I was doing that with the aid of someone else.
I was listening and I couldn't join, but I was listening.
I don't remember picking up goggles. I could have done though, but I don't remember it.
I don't remember.
Damn it. Okay, so
you just say you have them?
Well, I'm gonna have to say probably I don't. This feels bad. Okay, feels very bad. 252. We don't have goggles. What's going on? Okay, a violent gust blows you off your feet. Is that cutter farting along the highway? What's happening? And rolls you along the ground. Warily, you rise to your knees and radio Cutter for assistance, telling him what you've heard. He replies, it was probably a trick of the storm and that you must continue the search. Or if the wind is too strong in your area, abandon it and return to the school. Less than a minute later, you hear the voice again. Desperately try to pinpoint its source. Okay, we've got to do a die roll. So, and we've got to add our current perception score. Our perception is 4. So we're rolling a die. We have rolled a 9. Nice. If you roll 11 or more, turn to 199. So we're going 199. We found her. The voice seems to be coming from directly ahead. Slowly, you advance until the outline of a toy store looms out the storm. You approach to discover it's Toys R Us, which is shut down. You're relieved to see little Maria sitting cross-legged in the middle of the store. She is playing happily with a large furry bear, totally oblivious to the panic her disappearance has caused. You radio the good news to Cutter and Kate, tell them to return to the colony. Then you gather up Maria and her new playmate in your arms and protect her from the storm, switch your transceiver to Uncle Jonas to guide you back to the school. Turn to 50. Okay, good. I definitely, that was a much better decision than going west. I'm glad we didn't do that. Okay. My God, there's a massive section of text here. Your return is met with grief, relief, and joy. Hurrah! Maria's parents cannot thank you enough. Okay, good. How about giving me a medical kit or two? After the excitement has abated, you venture out into the storm once more, this time with Cutter to retrieve food and other supplies from the bus. This is one heck of
a blue norther. Reckon it could hold us here for a day or two before it blows itself out.
I sure hope you're wrong, he replies. You prise open the floor hatch that gives access to the luggage hold. Take a look at this. A fetid smell rises from the compartment, the smell of rotten food.
Damn, burn it. That's all we need right now. The heat's put paid to these rations. Now we're really in for a hard time.
Colony reacts to the news of the spoiled food with silent disbelief. As do I, because I don't have any left. We don't find some food to replace what we've lost. Auntie Betty distributes the last of the stone-hard bread. It'll be a convoy of skeletons that dives into Big Spring. Well, at least we've got enough water, replies Pop Yule. But we can't live for 3 weeks without food. We'd all be dead in 3 days without water. Some people save their ration, but you decide to eat yours before settling down to sleep. If you have any, you must now erase it. All food, including personal supply, was pulled for distribution. So even if I had any food left, at this point, it's gone. We're now going to 178. Okay. I wonder what would have happened if we'd gone the other way. You wake 10 hours later in a schoolroom, bathed in bright sunlight. The storm has passed, but it's bringing with it an oppressive heat.
92 degrees already, and it's not yet 8 o'clock. Today's a day for frying eggs on the sidewalk, if we had any eggs, that is.
Yeah, my dad used to fry eggs on the convoy that he traveled across the Sahara Desert in the 1950s. So that was a pretty interesting story. Soon the colony is busy making preparations to leave. You check your roadster thoroughly, making sure the fuel is clean and the engine runs smoothly. Cutter oversees a group who are working on the bus. Uncle Jonas services the tanker. The others, led by Kate, search the school for anything useful. By mid-morning, the truck is back on the road following Interstate 20 away from the dust-blown ruins of Abilene. Oh, okay, so we're now west of Abilene and we're on the 20, I guess, heading to Sweetwater. You've been driving for a little over an hour when you see a bridge in the distance and notice a glint of sunlight bouncing off a point near the center of its parapet. Not until you're within 100 yards of the bridge do you realize what's causing the reflection. It's a telescopic sight of a sniper rifle, and it's aimed directly at you. Okay, so we've got to do a die roll here and add it to your driving and current stealth skill. I think this is going to be a crucial one, so I'll do it on screen. Just for
total high too.
Total transparency. Melvin, we're currently on 178. I'm not sure if he's still there, so I'll pop that in the chat. There we go. Yeah, I think we do want to roll high. He has to bail out. Okay. Thanks, Melvin. Thanks for tuning in, man. I really appreciate it. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to have you here, sir. Here we go. Okay, I think that's pretty good because our stealth and our driving skill combined is a rather tasty 9 points. Plus 8 is 17. And if you get 14 or more, you turn to page 21. So I think we've avoided it. Do you want to take over posting the numbers in the chat?
Okay.
I can do it if it's difficult for you there.
No, I got it.
Okay. You react swiftly to the danger by pulling the steering wheel to the left and leaning with your car as it swerves across the highway. A moment later, you hear the metallic whine of the bullet as it ricochets off the edge of your windshield. Tiny fragments of high-velocity bullet pepper your headrest, but you survive the attack unscathed. You quickly recover control of your car and signal to the others to accelerate. By the time the unknown sniper has reloaded his rifle, you and the convoy are speeding away from the bridge, obscured by a cloud of dust. So we raced straight over it? It feels like, or have we turned around? I'm not sure.
No, I think that's I think we've gone over it.
Okay,
we're going. Most sense.
We're going to 150. Well, looks like the trouble's not over yet. It's not until you reach the town of Trent, several miles beyond the bridge. I'm not going to put the map up because we've got a combat situation coming up, but let me just have a look at it. Okay, Trent is somewhere between Abilene and Sweetwater, then it's not on the map. You consider it safe to slow down. The sniper attack and the burning midday sun has left you shaking and streaming with sweat. You must now take a drink. Okay, I can. Or lose 3 endurance points. Fortunately, I have ample water, so good. Okay. Battered houses and stores of this Texan town slip past and once again feature plain and broken lists, and the plains of the broken, sun-baked earth stretch out before you. Less than a mile north, a small cloud of dust is moving across the plain, parallel to the freeway. Slowly it draws nearer until you can hear the sound of motorcycles and glimpse the ugly faces of their riders. They're both standing to help balance their bouncing machines. As they approach the freeway, they open their throttles and lift their front wheels in a display of bravado. Okay, we're up against a gang of bikers. Got a picture of them here. There we go. So we're very into Mad Max territory now. It is the head of a. They're level with your roadster, and you notice the symbol painted on the side of their fuel tanks. It's the head of a lion with its teeth barred. The symbol of the Detroit Lions clan. Okay. Oh my God, not Detroit. Okay, you're horrified to see a live. You sense something landing in the car. When you turn to look, you're horrified to see a live grenade lying on the passenger seat beside you. Right, okay. Pick a number from the random number table. I think if we fail this, we're going to be dead. Add your driving and current stealth skill. So we're going to add 9 to the number that we're going to roll. And we want to get over 12. Here we go. That's 11. Let me just double check. Driving skill of 4, stealth of 5.
Yep.
Okay, 11.
Your toast.
If the number's 11 or less, turn to 2, 3, 6. It's going to be your adventure ends here, I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Frantically, you fumble for the grenade, but in your panic, you knock it off the seat and it rolls into the passenger footwell beyond the reach of your outstretched hand. Suddenly, there's a tremendous flash and you're thrown into the air. Then darkness engulfs you and you cease to think or feel to be. Your journey and your life ends here. God's sake. Right, okay, so this is the first time on this book we've actually died. But we'll do that die roll again and we'll keep going. Okay. Jesus Christ. We died twice.
What? Oh, come on.
I just rolled a 1. Okay, now we passed. All right. So if your score's 12 or more, go to 165. That's annoying, man. So now I can't claim to have got through in a straight run. I died. Blown up by a grenade. Okay, anyway, well, we're continuing. With terror gnawing at your insides, you reach down and take hold of the grenade, which definitely doesn't go off. In the next instant, you hurl it out the car and slam your foot down on the gas pedal. Seconds later, there's a dull thud, and in your rear view mirror, you see the biker to your left disappear in a ball of orange flame as the grenade explodes under the motorcycle and ignites their fuel tank. Cutter sounds the bus horn to the position of the remaining clansman. He's coming up fast on your blind side. As he draws level, he jerks a machine pistol from his saddlebag, cocks the bolt with his teeth, must have strong teeth, and opens fire. Pick a number from the random number table. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can die again. If the number you've picked is 1 or less, nearly. If it's 2 to 5, go to 317. So we're going to 317. Man, can't believe we died. So annoyed. I cursed it as well. I said, if we fail this, we're dead. And we did. You swerve aside as the clansman empties his machine pistol in one long burst of fire. Most of the bullets either penetrate the trunk or pass harmlessly over the car due to the speed of your reactions. In frustration, the angry biker hurls his empty weapon at you. And that misses you by the mark. Turn to 285. Okay, we're going 285. 285. Okay. Once more, you glance in your mirror and you see the biker cock his machine.
Coax
his machine into your slipstream. Thought he was talking about his weapon. I thought it was a typo. Behind him, the convoy is barely visible. The bus and tanker cannot match your speed that you have maintained in your race against the clansmen. Feels like I'm leaving the convoy behind, which is a bit of a chicken move. Then you see your enemy reaching inside his leather jacket. He withdraws a grenade, not another one, pulls out the safety pin with his teeth, lobs it into your car. Immediately you stamp on the brake pedal and fight with the steering wheel to keep the roadster in a straight line as it screeches to a halt. A moment later, there is a tremendous jolt as the Klansman crashes into the rear of your car. Instant later, he somersaults over your head, wide-eyed with terror, before disappearing behind the central crash barrier that divides the freeway. A muffled boom and a plume of dust marks the violent demise of yet another Detroit lion. I feel like I want to watch Mad Max after playing this. The second film, of course, which is the best one. 127. Looks like we're all dead meat. Okay. Oh, man, another massive section of text. Do you want to read this bit out? 127. Otherwise, my voice is going to die.
You pull over in order to check the battle damage and allow the rest of the convoy to catch up with you. Fortunately, the vital rear sections of your roadster, the fuel tank, axle, and tires are still intact. Most of the damage has been absorbed by the trunk and the fender, but the incident makes you sorely aware of the need for better protection, and you make a mental note to ask Cutter to help you reinforce the bodywork at the first opportunity. A few minutes later, the convoy arrives. Having passed the burning remains of your adversaries, the others are relieved to find you still in one piece. You inform them that the bikers were Detroit Lions, probably scouts, and that you suspect that the clan is no more than 30 miles away. Well, at least those two Uranian two won't be reporting our position to Mad Dog, or anyone else for that matter, says Cutter Riley. Even so, says Uncle John, we daren't afford to stop too long in any one place. We got to keep ahead of that pack all the way to Big Springs. The next town on the freeway is Sweetwater. Most of the buildings are still standing, although a few have roofs, and as a result of yesterday's storm, except for a few hungry coyote that have come down from the hills looking for jackrabbits, the place is deserted. Cutter signals for you to stop. The engine of the bus is overheating and, despite the risk of a clan attack, must be allowed to cool down. The others take the opportunity to search the town for food, and you busy yourself refueling your roadster. What do you make of that, Cal? Says Uncle Jonas, as you finish rewinding the tanker's fuel pipe. He's standing in the cab of the tanker, pointing at a shimmering ribbon of light to the south of the town. You climb up beside him, and immediately you see that it is the sun reflecting off the surface of a small lake. Water! You both exclaim excitedly. The chance of replenishing the colony's depleted water supply is too good an opportunity to miss. Uncle Jonas helps you load some empty plastic containers onto your roadster, and Kate volunteers to come with you to help fill and carry them. As soon as she is aboard, you start the engine and drive off towards the distant lake.
Okay, so we're going to 94. The lake occupies the center of a saucer-like depression. As you bring your roadster to a halt at the edge of this rocky rim, you stare down at the shimmering water below. A sure sign that the water is not contaminated is the vegetation that grows nearby. The sides of the depression are steep and covered with loose shale. Rather than risk a fall, you suggest to Kate that perhaps you should go down alone. When you reach it, she could throw the containers to you and then help you with them when you climb back out. The idea does not impress her. It's been so long, I can't remember the last time I took a dip in some real water. I'm sick of washing in the sand. You think I'm going to hang around up here while you splash about down there? You got another thing coming, Buster. Okay, she grabs the plastic containers and lowers herself over the edge. Seconds later, you hear her scream and rush forward to see her tumbling head over heels into the lake. You stupid woman, I cry. She hits the water with a loud splash and disappears from view. Briefly, she surfaces, raising her arm, shouting, "Help, Cal, I can't swim." If you possess a rope, turn to 181. Well, Kate, you're shit out of luck because I do not possess a rope. I definitely don't have a rope. I've got a box of salt and a hammer and a hunting knife and a pistol and a shotgun, and that's it. And a HE grenade and a radio and a Geiger counter. But I do not possess a rope. So we're going to 246. I mean, it's not like Kate's the love of my life. Right. You drop your containers and slide down the slope, riding loose shale feet first. As you near the bottom, you dig in your heels, using the speed of your descent to lever you forward into a perfect dive. Okay, so I've dived in the water. You reach Kate in a matter of seconds, but she's struggling so fiercely that it takes many minutes before you're able to get hold of her and swim towards the shallows. Eventually, breathless and bedraggled, you crawl out of the water and collapse side by side on the muddy shore. What was the rope supposed to do that couldn't achieve exactly? Yeah, anyway. Right, 3-3. So we're going to 335. 335. Oh my God, this is a huge piece of text. Looks like you got a bath sooner than you expected, you say, gently brushing aside her tangled strands of blonde hair. This would be the moment that we would kiss in the movie, I'm just going to say. That's the second time you've saved my life, she says sheepishly. It's becoming a bit of a habit. She smiles, holding you with her eyes as she kisses her own hand and touches it with your cheek. You feel drawn towards her, and as your lips meet, oh, we are kissing, you feel the tenderness of her touch. It is as if nothing else in the world exists. The illusion of peace is shattered by a sharp burst of gunfire. Of course it is. Now, hang on. Before we get into gunfire and combat, does this mean that we've been able to refill our water things? I'm going to vote yes. Because I'm definitely refilling my canteen before I'm smooching. Canteen first, then smooching. Okay. So, besides, I'd need to wet my lips. So, it's an obvious sequence of events. Klansman! Shouts Kate, pointing across the lake at two figures silhouetted against the cloudless sky. Quickly, you grab her by the arm, run her towards some cover of rocks and thorny foliage. Klansmen snigger as they raise their machine pistol to fire at your fleeing forms. Pick a number and add your current stealth skill. Okay, so I'll just roll this quickly. We have rolled a 2. Our stealth skill is 4, I think. No, it's 5, 7. If your total is 7 or less, we may have just died again, Turn to 114. Okay. You dive for cover and are about... Kate dives for cover. You're about to follow her. When you get shot in the calf, you lose 2 endurance points. You hobble into cover. Okay, so we're very badly wounded now. We can't afford to get into a close combat situation. Another burst of gunfire cuts through the bushes. You raise your head. One of the clansmen's beginning to move around the edge of the hollow while his partner kneels and gives covering fire. If you possess a missile weapon and wish to use it, turn to 193. 2 right, I do. Now, I have got... I've got a machine... I've got a machine pistol and I've got a pistol. Let's use the machine pistol, 140. So we're going to 140. What are we doing for time? Okay, I'm gonna play for about another 15 minutes. So I don't know if we're gonna get to the end because we're only south of Sweetwater and we've got to get to Big Spring. So I don't think we're gonna finish this today. You glance at your magazine, checking there are sufficient rounds. There are. Then you pull and release the bolt. Okay. Add your shooting skill to your current endurance points. Now, I opted for a high shooting skill, which is 6. And if I add that to my current endurance, that's not so good. That's only 3. Rolling a d10 on top of that, I rolled an 8. That is good. That puts me over 11. Turn to 153. So we're going to 153. I desperately need a medical kit. Your short burst of fire catches the clansman across the midriff. He doubles over as he runs. As he crashes to the ground, his partner panics, begins to fire wildly, parrying the scree behind you. When the firing stops, you raise your head, peer through the bushes, expecting to see the enemy reloading. Instead, he discards his empty magazine and turns and runs away. He's exhausted his ammo. As soon as you're sure that the coast is clear, you rise and help Kate to her feet. The sound of the motorcycle riding away. Deduct 6 rounds of ammunition. Turn to 175. Okay. Well, it looks like my character's got a girlfriend now. But, you know, maybe she's got a medical kit for me. I don't know. Okay, so we're down to 21 rounds. We're going 175. See what happens here. Oh, okay. Hey, we've just found shitloads. Yeah, we found loads of stuff. This is great. You turn out the pockets of the dead clansman. Empty the leather satchel he's carrying over his shoulder. Among his personal effects, you discover the following items. A pistol, no ammunition. I'll leave that because I've got a pistol already. Machine pistol, no ammunition. A knife +2, which I've also got. Enough food for 2 meals. Result. So
it's not a knife +2. I think it's supposed to be 2 knives. Knife ×2.
No, the knife gives you +2 in combat.
Oh, okay.
But it's clarifying what value it is, so it is +2.
Oh, okay.
If it's a time symbol in your one, that's a typo. Right, there's a water canteen with enough. So I've now got 2 canteens.
Nice.
I'm quite happy to have a second canteen. Thank you. Doesn't say that I can't have a second one. And that's got 1.5 pints of water in it. So that's nice. 0.5. We've got another high explosive grenade, a cigarette lighter, a compass, and a gold nugget. Oh, and enough med kits for 5. Got 5 med kits right now. I'm going to use 3 of those straight away. Yeah, no shit. So I'm just gonna. That puts me back up to 12, and then I'll keep the other 2. Okay, so other items. So we've now got a cigarette lighter. Useful. You know, for like a sayonara moment, Con Air type situation. We've now got a second HE grenade. Okay, and a compass. Don't know how big the compass is, but I'll put that in the backpack. And a gold nugget, which I assume doesn't take up a space in the backpack. Gold nugget. Okay, cool. Gold nugget. Done. You're sifting through his possessions, trying to decide which ones to keep. You hear Kate calling you to come and have a look at the dead man's motorcycle. It's a fuel tank with the same lion's head symbol of the last 2 scouts. But it is what Kate has found inside the saddlebag that's of greater interest. Turn to 297. Well, what is it? Okay. Carefully, Kate examines a package she has removed from the saddlebag. It's about the size of a man's shoe, covered with shiny black plastic wrapping. Oh, has a keypad and a timer attached to the side. I thought it was something else for a minute. Well, it looks like we got ourselves one mighty big firecracker here, she says. What is it, you ask? About 7 pounds of military-grade Zevatech explosive. Is that a thing?
I'm guessing it's similar to plastic explosives.
It's a futuristic plastic explosive. That's some firecracker. Don't worry, it's safe, she reassures you. Yeah, okay, lots of stuff about it's going to make a big bang. We better hustle that water. When that scout gets back to the lions, Mad Dog's going to be hot on our heels. You fill the containers. Yeah, you may also fill your own container. Okay, that's when they let you fill the containers. But yeah, okay, we've done that. When you tell Uncle Jonas what has happened at the lake, he cancels the food search and recalls everyone back to the bus. As soon as you're safely aboard, you're back on the 66-mile journey to Big Spring. Turn to 36. That might be a good place to pause it, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, okay, we're gonna pause it there. That's the end of part 2. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this book?
I don't know if I like the combat system.
Yeah, the combat system's a bit random. It's like sometimes you're not actually rolling on the combat system. It's saying, have you got a certain type of weapon? And then rather than rolling on the combat chart, you're more rolling with a skill set and then a dice. And then at other times you're rolling on you're actually in combat. So I find that's a little bit inconsistent. It's very well written. It's very visual. And I guess really what happens in the book is you get a couple of different places where you can decide, okay, we're either going to go kind of north or south, and that's going to take you along a whole load of choices and along a whole load of choices. Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Oh, Keith, thanks, Keith, for popping in, man. Really appreciate you being here. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a stream pretty soon talking about my my design for my own book. I'm going to do a video diary of the whole design, so that's going to be a whole new section on my channel. I did it the other day, but I just want to do it again. Just want to give a shout out to the late Matthew Perry, actor, of course. And man, yeah, do you know what?
Sad loss.
Yeah, I because you know, I mean, I know some people think it's silly, but you've got to remember that people of my generation, if you're in your mid to late 40s and you you know, and you were a person who watched TV shows in the 90s, there's a good chance that not only did you watch Friends, but B, you also related to it in some way. And I mean, a lot of it was comical nonsense, but it did take on a couple of. It was one of those shows that occasionally would sneak in quite a serious issue, quite cleverly. You know, they'd sneak in something serious. But I really liked it. It always made me laugh. That was what I really liked about the show. I knew I was going to laugh. You know, and you want a comedy. It's going to make you laugh. And so Chandler was my favorite character on the show. Now, Perry said it's a shame that the conversations are mainly going to revolve around the work that he did on Friends. I have seen a lot of his other work. I didn't get to see his play, which he did in London, and I deeply regret that now. So I'm going to make a point of seeing if I can buy it and have a read of it. But yeah, man, he's going to be missed by a lot of people. And I don't know, it kind of strikes me like someone who was a bit of a lonely guy as well. Yeah, but great that he kind of took it on and talked quite openly about his struggles with addiction and, you know, all of that stuff. I did think about doing a stream specifically about him and was going to, but I thought it felt a bit vulture-ish. So I thought, well, I'll give him a shout out over my next couple of streams that I've got scheduled anyway.
Yeah.
And, just do it that way. So what have I got coming up? Okay, so there's a few things coming up next. Well, funnily enough, on the banner that I've got, it's Monday, second part of Freeway Warrior. We're doing that right now. So tomorrow it's the Thing Halloween special. So I'm doing a special stream about the Thing. I've got a few different people coming on. Phoenix, if you're around when we're doing it, you're welcome to pop on. Just going to be talking about the film and why it's one of the best kind of scary movies of all time. I actually did a special episode about it on Happy Hour on the Critical Drinkers channel. We had a lot of fun talking about it there. And yeah, I'm gonna be all over that again on my channel, but gonna hear what other people thought about it and you know, when they first saw it and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll be getting into all of that. And then I've got the next one of these gaming streams will probably be either Sunday or Monday. I think probably this time next week. I'm trying to keep them consistent, but occasionally I do have a commitment on Monday night. So on Friday this week, I'm on Retro Nerd Girls channel talking about feel-good films. We did a part 1 of that, and very kindly she's invited me on for a part 2. And then I've got stunt coordinator Dan Stiles coming on for an interview in 2 weeks' time on Wednesday. So he's on, I think he's on the 14th of November on 8:30 GMT time. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I think I'm bringing back my Wednesday weekly roundup of film and TV that I've been watching with George Rother, who is Movie Guy 24/7. I think he's going to come back on the channel, and we're going to try and do our regular slot again. We used to do Wednesdays, but then the time that he could make, I couldn't. We're hoping to get that back. So good stuff. It just reminds me to say thank you to Desert for popping in from Sci-Fi Tronland. And you do have that kind of Mad Max kind of bearded, almost Mohican look. So that's a good. You got a good look for this. You just need to put a leather jacket on next time. All right. Thanks, those people that watched and commented, and we'll see you all again real soon. Bye bye.